We're talking about the foundations of reading and the praxis teaching reading. I'm going to talk a little bit about the objectives because I always tout objectives and I always say how learning objectives help to guide the learning. I know a lot of people say, why do I have to have my learning objectives up there? Well, they are useless unless we use them. And these are the 4 skills you're going to have by the end of this webinar today. You're going to be able to understand the foundational skills of reading. And some of you already know these, but I'm going to give you a little twist. You're going to learn some things. We're going to identify the explicit, systematic, and recursive way in which they are taught. Those 3 words, pay attention, explicit, systematic, and recursive. Those are very important words. And if you see them in an answer choice, they're most likely your right answer. We're going to analyze how these skills move students towards metacognition, and we are going to apply those skills at the end in a constructed response and open response. So many of you struggle with the open response, and that is normal. It's a very difficult task. You study for the multiple choice and you get it all down and you've got it, and then you get to the constructed response and you go blank. I'm going to show you today how to take what we talk about all throughout these multiple choice questions and apply all of that to the constructed response. And of course, we are going to be thinking like a test maker. Think like a test maker. This is something I talk about all the time. And while I want you to understand these concepts and know them back to front and all of that, I also want you to be strategic in how these exams are set up. Remember, I told you I was trained by Pearson. I was trained by some of these bigger companies. I know sort of the themes and the tricks and some of the things they want you to fall into. All right. So let's start with understanding foundational skills of reading. The foundational skills are right down here. And this is my little ladder here. We sometimes call this the Fab Five of reading. And basically, these are the 5 main reading skills. Now, you may not be familiar with the Fab Five of reading, but basically it's phonological and phonemic awareness, phonics, fluency, vocabulary, and the ultimate is comprehension. That's where we want students to be, right? Comprehension is critical thinking, higher order thinking. This is where we're making pictures in our minds. We're answering questions while we're reading. We're predicting what's going to happen. We're asking ourselves questions. I wonder why she did that. You're having all of these experiences with the text, but that is abstract critical thinking. There's a lot of metacognition that goes on in that situation. And in order to get there, research tells us that we really have to focus on these skills here. Fluency, phonics, and phonological and phonemic awareness. Now, vocabulary is important as well. These 2 right here, these are meaning-based skills. You're deriving meaning when you have comprehension. You're deriving meaning, obviously, when you do vocabulary. Phonological and phonemic awareness and phonics, these are code-based skills. There are codes inside the words that we use to decode them, to sound them out. That's phonics. And there are sounds in the words that we make. That's phonological and phonemic awareness. Now, when we talk about explicit instruction, remember I told you to have a look at these 3 words, explicit, systematic, and recursive. Okay. Let's talk about explicit first. Explicit means we teach them in isolation. You're standing up in the front of your classroom and you are working on these basic foundational skills first, phonological and phonemic awareness. Now, there are some distinctions between these 2 skills, but they have to do with sounds only. Remember that, sounds only. You can do phonological and phonemic awareness in the dark. That's what my reading coach used to say to me. Okay. You do not have to see the word. You do not have to write the word. All you're doing is playing with sounds. So you might be asking students how many sounds in the word cat. And I just did this with my niece. She's in kindergarten. She's scoring very high on phonological awareness. She loves to read. She's a little reader. It's just how she is. And we were breaking down words, breaking down sounds in words. We did not write a word down. We just did it in my kitchen. And I asked her how many sounds in this word, how many change out this sound for this sound. And we did that for about 15 minutes in my kitchen. So that's phonological and phonemic awareness. No words necessary. It's just done through speaking and listening. The second skill is phonics. Now you have to see the word. For example, in the word made, we know that this A is long, right? Because there's a consonant and then a silent E here. This is a CVC silent E word. Now, you may not know that as a CVC silent E word. That was never taught to me when I was younger. We just knew the A was long because there was a consonant followed by the silent E. right? Now we have different names for them and all of that. It's the same thing, but these are codes, right? The P and the H together equals a f sound, right? That's a code. The P and the H represent something. That's why we call this code-based. We're not really concerned about the meaning of the A or the D or the silent E. It's just a code inside the word, all right? The third skill we teach in isolation is fluency. That's where we are saying words together, strings of words, phrases, sentences, and then ultimately paragraphs. And we need to be reading with automaticity, meaning we're cooking, we're moving through the text, we're reading with automaticity so that we can understand what's going on. If you've ever had a student struggle with fluency, reading a passage and you see they stop at every word to sound out every word, right? Oh my God, it's like exhausting for you to listen to. Imagine how exhausting it is for the student. Their brain is too tired to understand the vocabulary or even begin to comprehend. So the fluency is what gives us the momentum and the cognitive endurance to get to these more higher level skills of vocabulary and comprehension. But it is the position of most states and most reading teachers and most reading researchers right now, because this could change tomorrow. We know that reading research changes, that when we teach these foundational skills in isolation explicitly, that students do better overall in their reading. Now, what does it mean when we say systematic? All right. So we know what explicit is. We are teaching these skills by themselves. We are hammering these skills. We're working on them in isolation. We're not mixing them all together and just hoping a student reads, right? This is also called the science of teaching reading. It's all kind of the same thing, okay? Now, what does it mean systematic? Well, systematic means that's why I have this ladder here. We start off with steps. We're down here where it's a little bit foundational. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. It's systematic. And even within these steps, like step number 1, phonological and phonemic awareness, there is a continuum within that. There is a phonological and phonemic awareness continuum where students learn different skills first, second, third, fourth. For example, if we're looking at phonemic awareness here, I might ask you to count the number of sounds in the word cat, right? K, at. 3 sounds. I might say, okay, what's the first sound in cat? And they might say k, 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 right? They don't say C. I mean, they might, but it's supposed to be the sound. So it's a k sound, right? And then I might say, okay, replace the k sound with a b sound. Replacing. Now I'm manipulating sounds. And this is all, I have this in my books, you guys. I think this is fairly early on in the Foundations of Reading book, just for your own reference if you're there and you're like, what? This continuum, I've never heard of it. It's actually, I've got graphics and everything. It's on page 16 of the Foundations of Reading, and it's early on in here as well. I've got it on page 14 of the Teaching Reading. So I show you this continuum. So when we manipulate sounds, now it's even more complex phonemic or phonological awareness skill, depending on what we're doing, right? Then I might have you replace a medial sound. So instead of replacing the b sound in bat with a k sound, I might say replace the a sound with an sound. Now the student has to locate the middle sound inside the word, which is harder than the beginning and ending consonant sounds, take it out and replace it with a different thing. Do you see how there's several processes of the mind and reading and sounds and understanding? So even with these foundational skills, there is a continuum within it. I go over all of that, but that's what systematic means. Even with phonics. Phonics, we start off with short vowel sounds, like in the word cut or big or bat, right? Then we move into consonant blends, like trap and slap, right? Then we might move into long vowel sounds with the silent E at the end. Then we might move into diphthongs and vowel teams and trigraphs and digraphs and all this stuff, silent letters and R-controlled syllables. It's getting more complex even within this foundational skill. So even within each skill, fluency, same thing. It's systematic in that we start off with reading words, then we read strings of words, then we read sentences, then we read phrases, then we read paragraphs, then we read passages, right? And of course, vocabulary and comprehension, as we get better and better, those become more high level. So that's what the systematic means. Now, what does the recursive mean? Very important. Well, sometimes we have to go back to go forward, right? How many times do you have to go back and review? Or, for example, when you get more complex words, you might have to re-engage with students on some of the more basic skills. These are just things good teachers do. They just name it explicit, systematic, and recursive. But remember that when it comes to reading skills, The same thing goes with math skills. You have your foundational math skills, and within those smaller math skills, you have a continuum. You have a progression from easy to more difficult. Now, on the exam, you may have to distinguish between a high-level phonemic awareness skill and a low-level phonemic awareness skill. So just understand that there's even more nuance to this, right?